the role of African universities, digitalization of the African continent, the role of African universities. Edo University, Iyamho, is not just a pace-setting university, it's a university of the moment and for the future in every sense. And what we are doing today is to bring to the fore in the public space, in the open domain, that great work that is happening here. Calm down and help to grow the university in more ways than one. I'd like to welcome everybody who has logged in. I see that the Commissioner for Education, Honorable Jimo Ijebai, who is representing the Executive Governor of Edo State, His Excellency Godwin Nogigase Obaseki, and who is also the visitor to the university. I'd like to welcome you to this event. Would like to welcome also to this event the Chancellor of Edo University. We'd like to make you welcome to this event. We'd like to welcome also the chairman of today's event, a seasoned and an accomplished engineer, a man who is very proud of his discipline, and for which reason he today occupies the foremost chair of the body that registers engineers in Nigeria. I talk of no other person than Engineer Ali Almasuya Rabiu, the current president. Please, we make you welcome to this event. We'd like to also make welcome to this event our immediate past chairman of council, Emeritus Professor T.O.K. Audu, a seasoned engineer who is never tired of the practice and research in the area of chemical engineering and engineering generally. We'd like to welcome you to this event, sir. I'd like to welcome also, in a special manner, our friends from all over the world who have logged in to be part of this exercise. I see that Professor Joseph Igeteme of the CDC Atlanta has logged in. We'd like to make you welcome to this event. We'd like to also welcome to this webinar our students and numerous students and staff all over the place who are doing us proud and have logged in to ensure that this event gets the desired publicity and value that it requires. We have a very big fish in our midst, a man who will be speaking to us in a few minutes, and that is the guest speaker of today's ceremony. His name is Engineer Martin Manuhwa. Engineer Martin Manuhwa, this is not the time to talk about him yet because a proper citation will be done on him to unfold the man behind this man, the great colossus that the man is. But suffice to say that we are glad that you have logged in and we would like to make you welcome, Engineer Manuhwa, for making it possible to speak to us this afternoon. We will take several recognitions as the event proceeds. And in continuation of that exercise, we'd like to go very straight on to a few of the formalities that we need to do. And to begin these formalities, we will do three things. We'll take the We'll take the national anthem, we will take the university anthem, and thereafter we may take up the opening prayers. So right now I ask you to stand by as we take the Nigerian national anthem. Please rise where you are, wherever you are, in honor of our country, Nigeria. I haven't said that. Let me go on to quickly recognize a few of the dignitaries that are also here. We'd like to recognize the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Francis Okiye. We'd like to also recognize the Chief Judge of Edo State, Honorable Justice Esther Aminagawa Edigi. We'd like to recognize all the members of the Edo State House of Assembly who have logged in. We want to recognize and welcome the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Edo University, Professor S.M. Omodia, and all the other principal officers of the university who have also logged in. We want to recognize, welcome, and salute our visiting Vice Chancellors, rectors of sister tertiary institutions, and members of the Edo University Senate who have also graciously logged in. We want to thank your Royal Highnesses who have logged in. We want to thank gentlemen of the press. I can see some of you here who have also logged in. We want to thank our students and all the invitees that have logged into this webinar. As I said earlier, this is our third public lecture And this lecture is entitled, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and privilege to invite the Chief Steward of Edo University, the man who loses all the sleep and sits all day to ensure that this university not only meets the aspirations of the founding fathers, but that it grows from strength to strength. It is my honor and privilege, therefore, to invite the Vice Chancellor of Edo University, Engineer Professor Emmanuel Osikweme Aluyo, to please make his opening remarks. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir.
His Excellency, Mr. Godwin Nogagase Obaseki, the Executive Governor of Edo State and visitor to the university, ably represented by Honorable Jimo Ijebai, the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Edo State, the chairman of today's occasion, Engineer Ali Masuya Rabiu, President of Koren, the speaker of today's occasion, Engineer Martin Manuhwa, President, Federation of African Engineering Organizations, the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Francis Okie, the Honorable Chief Judge of Edo State, Honorable Justice Esther Menagawa Edigin, the members of the Edo State House of Assembly, visiting Vice Chancellors, members of management of Edo University, Your Royal Highnesses, staff and students of Edo University, Iyamho, distinguished invitees, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the third public lecture of Edo University, Iyamho, Edo State, Nigeria. This third public lecture is being presented as a webinar in keeping with the current trend or new normal occasioned by the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic across the world. Edo University Iyamho was established by Edo State Amended Law 2016 and accorded recognition by the National Universities Commission, NUC, on 23rd March 2016 as the 41st state-owned university and 142nd university in Nigeria. Edo University Iyamho, in its few years of existence, has been adjudged in several quarters as the model for a 21st century university in Nigeria. There is no gainsaying the fact that the topic of the third public lecture of Edo University Iyamho, titled Digitalization of the African Continent, the Role of African Universities, to be delivered by Engineer Martin Manuhwa, President, Federation of African Engineering Organization, is very apt in the present global era of COVID-19 pandemic. Edo University Iyamho is keen into the digitalization of its academic programs through the deployment of digital scientific teaching equipment and facilities. Edo University Iyamho is one of the universities in Africa that has an advanced digital enhanced instructional learning materials, such as the Canvas Learning Management System. The university, through its Canvas Learning Management System, was able to conclude the 2019-2020 academic session through virtual teaching, learning, and conduct of examinations in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, when many schools were closed in Nigeria, and indeed across the world. It is worthy of note that the Canvas Learning Management System is a digital platform that enables teaching, learning, and interaction between lecturers and students via online. It is a digital tool used by 7 out of the 10 highest ranked universities in the webometric ranking. Another very important digital tool for training applicable to medical students in Edo University Iyamho is the anatomer's table. An anatomer's table is the most technologically advanced anatomy visualization system in the world for anatomy education. The anatomy table has been adopted by many of the world's leading medical schools. Edo University is also one of the 4 medical training schools in Nigeria with power laboratory systems for teaching physiology and pharmacology. Similarly, our clinical skills laboratory competes favorably with other leading medical schools in the continent. The Siman 3G mannequin is a wonder digital simulation system. It has the capability to simulate numerous disease conditions with different heart sounds. The medical people will understand the importance of this equipment. Our media studio, radio and television compete favorably with other leading universities with world-class qualities. Edo University, Iyamho has temperature-controlled classrooms with multimedia facilities in all classes. We have several smart boards with a projection to provide smart boards in all classes across the next couple of years. Our engineering programs have adopted the outcome-based education model, while our medical program has in place a competency-based curriculum. Only 4 universities in Nigeria, to my knowledge, have adopted the competency-based curriculum, despite being the curriculum in use in the developed world. Digitalization of the African continent is key to the development of African nations in order to facilitate breakthroughs in science and technology that will impact on the lives of citizens in every nation. The role of universities in Africa in the quest for digitalization of African nations cannot be overemphasized. The universities are the brains of every nation to bring about increase in employment generation, communication, enhanced mechanical farming, industrialization of the African nations within the Global Committee of Nations. It is hoped that this 3rd public lecture by Edo University Iyamho will stimulate universities in Africa to rise to the challenge to invest more in scientific researches that will move African nations to contribute more in building the continent of our dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to seize this opportunity to invite you to our 2nd convocation ceremony via Zoom, which is scheduled to climax on the 7th of November 2020, with award of degrees to graduates. Let me also seize the opportunity to thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State and visitor to the university, Mr. Godwin Nogagase Obaseki, the University Council, Senate, staff, parents, and students of the university for the feat of continuation of academic activities through the use of the Canvas Learning Management System despite the COVID-19, as directed by the National Universities Commission. I must also mention that with the completion of academic activities for the 2019-2020 academic session, the new session will be starting off on the 16th of November 2020. I thank you all most sincerely for honoring our invitation to be part of this 3rd public lecture. Once again, you are welcome.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor, for the eloquent opening remarks. Without wasting time, I would like to go on to the next item on our program, which is the address by the chairman of today's ceremony, Engineer Ali Alimasiya Rabiu. But before he comes on to give his address, so he can take a few minutes, 2 minutes actually, to be ready, I'd like to quickly recognize and welcome to this event Professor Momodu Kasim Momodu, the Dean of Law and member of the University Council, recent University, Abeokuta. We'd like to also make Philippine Mombegna, who has also joined us from outside of the shores of Nigeria. Thank you very much for logging in. I want to move on to the chairman of this ceremony, who is ready and is as fit and fiddle. He's all smiles already. Engineer Ali Alumesiya Rabiu, FNSC, Fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, F-NICE, that is FNICE. Please make welcome the president of COREN, who incidentally is our chair today. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, so I can go ahead.
I guess Mr. Chairman is having a few glitches as we had earlier, but I'm confident that they'll be resolved soon, and then they can join us effectively. While we are waiting for that to happen, waiting for the chairman to be able to reconnect, we will play a short clip of the university. And as soon as the chairman is ready, we will discontinue and take him. Thank you.
I'm ready. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State, represented by the Honorable Commissioner of Education, the Vice Chancellor, Edo University, Iyamho, my very good friend and brother, Engineer Professor Emmanuel Aluyo, other principal officers of the university, the guest speaker, Engineer Martin Manuhwa, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege for me to be part of this unique occasion of the third public lecture of the Edo University, Iyamho, a gathering of stakeholders in the academia and industry to rub minds with a view to moving our nation and the entire African continent forward. This invitation to me, as chairman of the opening of this occasion, is indeed an honor to me as a person and to the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN. I am highly impressed with the developmental strides recorded by this young university that was established barely 4 years ago. Let me therefore commend the Edo State government and indeed the management of this university for the giant strides recorded so far in developing the university within the short time frame of 4 years only. Now, the theme for today's lecture, Digitalization of Africa, would be a game changer for the development of the African continent, since digital technology can aid research and development, which will in turn spur innovation, economic development, and job creation. Specifically, Emerging technologies can significantly improve the living standards of people in many ways, since technological development can directly help people, particularly the professionals, to complete tasks more effectively and efficiently. For example, based on research by experts, evidences indicate technologies such as artificial intelligence and robotics are being employed by organizations to automate simple and repetitive tasks. Thank you, the Vice Chancellor, for considering me worthy to chair. I have another function in Katsina at the government house immediately, so I will have to leave in a few minutes. Thank you very much, and God bless.
We want to thank the chairman for his sense of industry, sense of commitment.
In the educational sector of Edo State, as the National Universities Commission (NUC) approved the establishment of Edo University Iyamho. By this approval, Edo University Iyamho becomes the 41st state university and 142nd university in Nigeria. Edo University Iyamho, otherwise known as EUI, was ranked top best in Open Educational Resources 2018, organized by the National Universities Commission (NUC). The university is among the few in Africa that has an atomic table and fully deployed Canvas elements for effective online teaching and learning. During the lockdown, the university deployed the e-learning platform for successful completion of the 2019-2020 academic section. The university has become African Toast with its collaboration with Association of African University for several online training for university lecturers and researchers. Let's take a look. This is the administrative building of the university. This is Muhammadu Buhari Science Building. You are welcome to Engineering Faculty and its workshops. Here is Farmers Building. These are medical laboratories. This is law faculty. Here is the university library. Here in AUI, we have temperature control classrooms with multimedia facilities. This is the university main auditorium. You are welcome to the Students' Hall of Residence. This is our football pitch. I hope you like what you have seen. Thank you for being our visual visitor. Welcome to
Thank you very much. That was a brief presentation on the virtual tour of Edo University, Iyamho, beginning Faculty of Science, the Faculty of Engineering, to the Faculty of Law, to the Anatomy Department where the anatomy is set up, to the wonderful pitch that we have for football and various other facilities that we have not been able to. For instance, we have a well set up 2 lawn tennis courts, basketball courts, volleyball courts, and several other sporting facilities around. And the Tata track is just on its way to fitting into the sports world of Edo University. We have also taken you to the hostels, the halls of residencies in a smaller sense can be referred to as 5-star hotels for our students because they live not only in a very decent environment, but in no crowded facility. This is part of the attraction of Edo University. And then we talk of temperature-controlled classrooms. Africa is very temperate. And those who know Africa know that we actually do find ourselves here. But we have provided at Edo University classrooms that are conducive for learning, that make students want to remain in class practically all day. But it does not make the monk. It's not just the classrooms. The quality of teaching, the facilities that are deployed to ensure that our students learn quickly and rapidly. These are all the things that attract people to our environment. What is more, even in this age of lockdown, occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, Edo University, Iyamho, has pressed on with lectures, delivering them virtually on the LMS platform. And our students have also taken their exams on that same platform. And by the grace of God, we are glad to announce that in a short while, the results of the last will be announced. And resumption, as the Vice Chancellor said in his opening address, is scheduled for early November after the convocation. So this is a brief tour of the university as packaged for you. At this point, we would like to move quickly with the program, and we're on to the reason for which this lecture, this event was organized. We are going to unfold the big masquerade, the man whose credentials are so tall that even himself, as well built as he looks smaller than his portfolio. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we want to do an oration and a citation on the guest speaker of today's ceremony. Our guest speaker is Engineer Martin Manuhwa, President of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations. Let's welcome our speaker who is standing by his speech. But before he does that, we'd like to Chancellor of the University, other members of the University, logged in. Our friends who is ably represented by the Central Engineering Organizations. He is the chairman of the Chihihoi University of Technology, CUT, Council in Zimbabwe. At the University of Cape Town, where he's researching on the link of ICTs and the Industrial 4.0 revolution and productivity in engineering projects. He teaches big data analytics and software project management at the Zimbabwe National Defense University. He has taught at the University of Zimbabwe and Bandura University of Sciences. He is a member of various boards in Zimbabwe and abroad. He is a counselor with the Zimbabwe Higher Education Council, ZIMPI. Engineer Manuhwa was head of the Electrical and Mechanical Industry Sector Committee, the National Power Advice Board, which he represented in the NAMACO Council. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Manuhwa is a managing consultant of the Zimbabwe Africa Infrastructure Development Group, ZIG, a company that specializes in engineering procurement, construction project management, and consulting engineering. ZIG works with Hatch Africa Limited in Zimbabwe to deliver infrastructure solutions in the power industry, in mining, and in public arena. His company, together with Hatch, the technical advisors on the Caribbean extension, now successfully commissioned, is also part of the wind power station expansion projects. He was the vice president of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, WFEO, and chair of its Anti-Corruption Technical Standing Committee since 2013. Engineer Manuhwa, the vice president and founding member of the World Council of the Education, Training, and Capacity Building Committee. He is a past chairman of the Engineering Council of Zimbabwe and past president of the Zimbabwe Institution of Engineers. He is past president of the Southern African Federation of Engineering Organizations, SAFEO. He's an energy expert and a consultant engineer. His engineering practice is in energy, construction projects, worksite project implementation and management. He sits in various engineering faculties, advisory boards, and other committees in Zimbabwe, and also in the Southern African Development Community, a 16-member nation community. Engineer Manuhwa is a fellow of the African Scientific Institute, ASI, a fellow of the Academy of Engineering and Technology of the Developing World, AETDEW, a foreign fellow of the ASEAN Academy of Engineering and Technology, a past president and fellow of the Zimbabwean Institution of Engineers, and fellow of the Ghanaian Institution of Engineering. Engineer Manuhwa has received several awards, including the ZIE SKF Service to Engineering. He was also awarded for service of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations as the chair of the Standing Technical Committee on Anti-Corruption. He has delivered various infrastructure papers at occasions and forums like the UNESCO Engineering Week in various African universities and African countries, World OECD in Paris, World Engineering Conferences in Australia, Japan, and Switzerland, the African Union and the Global Engineering Conference, and at the Royal Academy of Engineering. Manuhwa has been facilitated by many engineering institutions in the world, notably in India and Ghana. Sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a man whose CV is only a watershed for the things that he has done. A man who stands very tall in his chosen area of endeavor in life, which is engineering. A man who does not share responsibilities. A man who knows what it is to promote a discipline that he believes in. A man who has, this is my privilege and my very rare honor, therefore, very distinguished gentlemen, to present to you and invite Engineer Martin Manuhwa to present this third public lecture of Edo University entitled Digitalization of the African Continent, the Role of African Universities. Please make welcome Engineer Manuhwa.
Thank you very much for those kind words. I am just wondering, after listening, whether it is me or your generous introduction was quite refreshing. Thank you so much. I would like to thank the university for this very rare occasion to speak to a topic that I am very, very dear to a topic that the Federation of Engineering Organizations in Africa sees fit as its agenda for the Africa that we want. My lecture briefly is going to put this into context and then look at the Federation, what we do, and look at our vision 2063, which is a baby of the Africa AU Vision Agenda 2063. I will talk a lot to the cause and effect of the digitalization of Africa, which will be due to the Industry 4.0 revolution. Its concepts, implications, strategies that universities, institutions, ourselves will go into. I will also take this opportunity to give a few recommendations. Safe to say that, let me go into the protocol which is guiding us here. I would like to recognize His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, as represented, the Chairman, Engineer Ali, here who opened who chaired this great occasion, and the Vice Chancellor of Edo State University, Engineer Professor Iyamho Aluyo FNC, a fellow, the Nigerian Society of Engineers. That to us is a very dear title, Professor. Thank you so much for the invitation. I would also want to thank the Speaker of the House of Assembly, the honorable members of the chamber here present, all the dignitaries, members of the Federation, members of the university, your council, the members of the engineering community, and I am guided by all protocol pertaining. Let me go straight into the lecture, and I hasten to say that thank you so much for the great honor to be invited to speak at your prestigious university state lecture series. My organization, and indeed myself, feel greatly honored by this gesture. Let me congratulate your university as one of the technopreneurial universities that is going to drive Africa into the next level. That has already adopted the new normal. You will notice in my lecture, I am not going to speak much about how you are going to be digitalized as a university, because my research, the last lecture I gave in India, I heard about your young university. I heard about the wonders that you have. I heard that you are one of the few universities in Africa using what we call the Ivy League content delivery and online learning suite, the Canvas. I heard you are well equipped and you are psyched to be a technopreneurial university that will lead the future to the African university. We thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, for this vision. We thank your council. We thank His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, and everybody else involved in this great role. I shall speak on the role of university in the digital transformation of Africa. And I also talk of the issues that we have and challenges facing Africa. The role of engineering and technology in the digital transformation and development, especially the Industry 4.0 construction, 4.0, as well as the SDGs. I believe engineering can anchor other disciplines. Of course, together with other disciplines, we can create the Africa that we want. Again, we will talk about lessons learned, successes, what we can do, what we need to do to harness the digital economy for the gains of Africa. The report UNESCO gave us was very, very challenging. We had that Southern Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, yes, the least number per capita of graduates in the world. And when you look at the level of development that we have, you can tell why. We need to leapfrog, increase the number of graduates so that we can catch up to the competitiveness of the new normal. Our level now is one engineer to 6,000 citizens in Sub-Saharan Africa. Whereas in China, there are 1 to less than 200 per capita. And China churns out 1.2 million quality engineers per annum. So these are the people that we are competing with. Secondly, the Africa Agenda 2063 premises my lecture, Honorable Chair and the Vice Chancellor and the excellencies here present, colleague engineers, members of my executive council, and all the presidents of the federations in Africa. This is a dream and a vision that is premised on the Africa we want, where there is prosperity, where there's sufficient infrastructure. Africa is then rid of diseases and many other ills that I will discuss. Again, I will look at the UN Broadband Commission's Africa Moonshot program, which they have deployed 109 billion US dollars for Africa. Wait a minute, don't smile. All that 109 billion may find its way back to the World Bank, back to China, back to Europe, if we do not have enough human capital, if we do not have enough lawyers, enough economists, enough engineers to be able to be digitalizing Africa in terms of policy frameworks, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the equipment. And in this game, which is the Industry 4.0 revolution that we are, we need many, many technological astute STEM graduates to take the battle further. Your Excellencies, the Vice Chancellor, your team, I would like to tell you a little bit about the Federation, the FAEO. The Federation of African Engineering Organization was originally born in Egypt in 1972 as the Federation of Engineering Organizations in Africa. But because of apathy, it was resuscitated in Nairobi in 2012, Kenya. The FAO that we know was born in Nairobi, and it has 5 segments. And these segments are divisions in Africa or regions that are alongside the economic blocks that we have. We have the Central African Federation of Engineering Organizations, FAEO, which I'm proud to say we only launched yesterday, but one. We have the Eastern African Federation of Engineering Organizations, FAEO, very active. In fact, my past president, Engineer Julius Liyungu, is from Kenya, is from FAEO. Then we have North Africa Federation of Engineering Organizations. This is still in its infancy. We are going to be launching it later this month. We also have the Southern African Federation of Engineering Organizations, SAFIO, very, very active. This is the one that deployed me for this term in FAEO. Then we have the WAFIO, our biggest, the West African Federation of Engineering Organizations, of which His Royal Highness, Engineer Otis, is the president, yours truly from Nigeria. Once again, I would like to applaud FAEO for the successes it deployed at the last World Federation Engineering Olympic or World Engineering Congress in Melbourne, where we managed to have one son of Africa, Engineer Baraleb Shehu, elected as the executive vice president for the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. A great feat, not only for Africa, but indeed for all the the developing world. So this is the federation, and we are the international member to the World Federation. Again, for us to succeed, we must contextualize universities as agents of change. Universities should not be looking at the traditional mission of teaching and learning, extension services and research, and leave it there. Those 3 elements. It's not good enough. Universities should be drivers for economic change. Universities should be drivers for innovation. Universities should be drivers for the digitalization of Africa. They should move the goalpost. They should leapfrog Africa through digital transformation in all its facets. so that we are the continent of the future. Africa is the winner in the next 100 years because we are in a virgin continent where not much infrastructure has been constructed. And yet, as I will explain in the lecture, we have the youngest, brightest population on earth. This is quite an arsenal that Africa, through our universities, education systems, through our professional bodies and industry nexus, should work together. So the SDGs are dear to us. They are looking at poverty eradication, good health and well-being. They are looking at quality education, which is SDG 4. And I will discuss this towards the IEA, the International Engineering Alliance, in which I think Edo State University will be one of the compliant universities as soon as Koren is a member of the IEA. Again, the engineering is essential to achieve all the UN SDGs. And it is the panacea that each one, even hunger, poverty, we are looking at precision agriculture, you're looking at irrigation, as you're looking at energy, you are looking at power systems, power stations, electricity, renewable energy, smart grids, the ocean economy. So all these are intertwined and integrated. There is not a single goal. There is not a single thing that any human being on earth does that does not involve engineering. As soon as you wake up from a bed designed, built, constructed by engineers, you go to your bathroom and open the tap, which is a reticulation of water of a dam built by engineers, go to the stove, do your breakfast on a stove designed by the mechanical engineers. I can go on and on. Drive your car. Maybe you are going for a trip, you go into the airport, built, designed, and then you board the train, also constructed, built, and designed by the engineers. They, of course, do not do that on their own. They need a lot of support from the other professions, from the soft professions, from accountants, economists, sociologists, psychologists. So we really need this nexus of how do we move Africa. Why do we cry about Africa's problems? The world has over 40% of its population which do not have safe water. 35% do not have improved sanitation. There are more cell phones in Africa per capita than there are toilets. That is ridiculous. There are more, the 24% do not also have electricity. In Africa, it's up to 40, my country. 40% do not have access to the grid. 20% live in poverty. In Africa, it's even more. And this again goes into gender. 1.3 million are disenfranchised. There's lack of adequate housing. Most people live in slums, mainly in Africa. So the point is made. When you look at Africa at night, the world at night, this is probably why these people call us a dark continent, which I don't think anybody likes. But it's only meaning that during the night, most of your places are not lit. You can see if this is the world at night. This shows you the gaps and the roles that we want universities to cover. You cannot have digitalization if there is no electricity in Africa. You need to have power so that you can do all sorts of things. The other role that is so important is also the world of knowledge. And when you look at a map, when we resize the world according to the IP or patents, Africa almost disappears. And you find the United States, Europe, a bit of India and China comes up. So this is what we want the universities in Africa to cover. This is the gap, this is the lack that we have. When you go to poverty, a map of poverty, you then find Asia grows big, Africa re-emerges. That is not sustainable. That is not sustainable. This is why Edo states and many other states, universities and other universities in Africa should fight against ignorance. Again, when you look at innovation, most of our people are in the green zone, which means technologically excluded. And then some of them at least are adopters. You find we have over there North Africa and a bit of Southern Africa. It's not sustainable. The rest of the world, when you look at Brazil, you look at the US and Europe, they are technologically innovators, which is an area where the digitalization of Africa should take us. Again, engineering, technology, and development are vital for addressing social and economic development. Our ancestors did not leave the Stone Age because they ran out of stones. They left the Stone Age into the Iron Age because they discovered better ways of delivering, easier ways of delivering services and chores that they were doing. But millions of people continue to live in poverty, especially in Africa, despite various initiatives and activities on science and technology for development over the last 50 years. Why is this? Due to a mix of general factors specifically related to engineering and technology, we really need to leapfrog as Africa. Way back in 1963, I always use this slide, when our four founding fathers, President Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, first speech on 24 May 1964, when he had this vision where he says Africa should accumulate machinery and establish steelworks, iron foundries, factories, link the states, do telecommunications, drain the marshes, green the deserts. And he said, it is possible within the ambits of science and technology, engineering, to make even the Sahara bloom into vast field with verdant vegetation for agricultural and industrial development. This is a vision set in 1963. We have not achieved it. So what we are saying to Edo states and the university for the digitization, we need sustainable infrastructures, and engineers change life. Engineering makes a crucial contribution to the improving of the quality of life of citizens. Like I've said before, the health and quality of life, better water supplies, municipal sewer systems, wastewater treatment, buildings, agriculture, food, anything. So in African developing countries, engineering challenges are even more pronounced, often coupled with the largest engineering skills shortages and the skills gaps. Let us work together with professional bodies like the FAEO. I will take the challenge that Engineer Ali Soliwa has spoken about, that FAO should mentor universities in Africa by establishing global engineering education standard for Africa and the International Engineering Alliance that drives sustainability, facilitating engineering mobility, creating networks like we are doing now, sharing ideas, as well as building engineering capacity for sustainable development. This to us is very, very important. Let me go further and tell you that jobs that we know today may not exist tomorrow, because once we have digitalized, once we have digitally transformed, a lot of jobs will be wiped out of the face of the earth. There is a strong relationship between a critical mass of educated and skilled engineering and science graduates and economic and social development. Again, the timing is important. Universities should teach future skills, although they will be acting in the present. Who knows? I will talk of some jobs that will disappear and that will come. Are we preparing adequately, and do we understand the changing context? This is the challenge that I'm giving them. There's been a lot of uncertainty and panic about artificial intelligence, about the confluence of robotics and AI, machine learning, and issues like that. There is nothing to fear, because the greatest fear is the fear of the unknown. But I'm urging African universities not to fear, but to create the future. Development and the future is designed, and it is designed by the universities. It is designed by our thought leaders, by the society, by the think tanks. So why can you fear something that you are designing and creating? So there is no need to fear robotics. There is no need to, to fear that your jobs, you'll be displaced. The robots are going to be, robocops. They are going to destroy the human race. All those are fixtures. Stephen Hawking, the late, says IA, the artificial intelligence, is either the worst thing that has ever happened to humanity or the best thing that has happened to humanity. I think Stephen Hawking was spot on. This is the best thing that will ever happen to us if we design the future. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. So should we be beyond whether it is real to be prepared or not? The shock came in 20 where the Deep Blue and AlphaGo, when our champion, chess champion, was beaten by a robot. And ever since, the world has never been the same. New technology will, of course, change some new jobs. Some jobs are gone. Typists, dockers, milkmen, blacksmiths, secretaries, drawing office, Xerox operator, elevator, all these things will go. Telephone operators, we don't have them anymore. They will be lost very soon. But in the student's lifetime, you may find we may not have reporters anymore. There will be automatic news gathering, strategists, call centers, all these personal bankers. Blockchain will be dealing with your banking, investment bankers, warehouse people, all these PAs, tech supports, they will go. They will be lost. But of course, there will be new jobs to come, like wisdom archivists, genome designers, material designers, troubleshooters, nano engineers, bioengineers. These are already in place. 3D, 6D designers, risk profilers, cyborg engineer, protein designer, digital historian. Yes, this is true. I was speaking to a professor that is into genetics. They are just digital genetic historians that are required. Composer repurposers. These jobs will come, and some jobs will be enhanced. Complexity analysts, security experts, modelers, scientists, medical technologies, all these jobs will be enhanced. So there is no need to fear. The trend these days the university should encourage is to ensure that coding becomes a language. It doesn't matter whether you're doing law or medicine. You need to be able to code, to be programming your computer for solutions in your profession. Mathematics, science, of course, will be quite a lot of things. We need to prepare people for job employment versus people for job creation with value. Employability is very, very important. And we also need to create entrepreneurs, people that can create value, people that can change the world. Some skills requirement that we need, it will be in order of importance, changing creativity, innovation, design, and entrepreneurship is at the top. Interpretation of context. This is like the emotional intelligence, problem identification and solving. Ethics and responsibility is very high up there. Resourcing and aligned networking, technology adaptation, passion for humanity, love for the environment, and sustainability are skills that we need with our young engineers. Again, Africa is the youngest population. I said that. It has been identified as the continent poised for the largest growth for the next 100 years. It has the potential for development. So we need to think differently, strategize, and take actionable measures in policy. The motivation behind all Industry 4 or disruptive technologies is the Industry 4.0 revolution. This has made the digital future, which is why Africa needs to be digitalized because of the IR 4.0. Again, it has made the world flat. Globalization is the order of the two, and also community living. Now we are more connected than ever before because of the cyber-physical connection systems under Industry 4.0. Again, there is rising entrepreneurship. Honorable Vice Chancellor, your students may be millionaires, multi-billionaires in Naira before they graduate, because they can start the business anywhere, anytime, as long as they have a smartphone, a laptop, and an idea. So let me just go back in history and go into the 4 phases of the Industrial Revolution, which was basically, one was the mechanical, the second was the electrical, which was mass production, and then the third was computerization and ICT, internet, and the fourth now is the cyber-physical connection of activities. If you notice, 1, 2, 3 revolutions involved products, services, but the fourth involves people. The focus is more on people, which is why the digitalization of Africa, we need to consider how much we invest in our young people. Again, you can notice the complexity is getting higher from the first revolution, where we had the first mechanization loom in 1784. Second was basically the conveyor belt, the Cincinnati slaughterhouse, automated Ford Motors. The third, again, the programmable logic machines, the PLCs from 69. But now we are on the cyber physical systems that connect people through the technologies that I will discuss, to ideas, sensors, and are processed through big data analytics and many other processes. There is now a very high degree of complexity, and we need a different kind of manpower. Speaking further to the impact of production, at least when you go to the 4th industrial revolution, you will notice it's now 10 times more impactful than the internet revolution. It's because we have now no difference between the physical and cyber digital divide. You can connect wherever you are. The socio-economic industry, government, individual are so working together through these devices and creating a bigger impact on society than what we had. The scalable efficiency and the scalable adaptability has been multiplied tenfold because of this environment, the Industry 4.0 environment, which is, of course, comprised of internet, not of things anymore, but internet of everything, internet of engineering, internet of medicine, internet of services, internet of people, and internet of data. This is the global environment that we're dealing with. But then under the digitalization of Africa, we are then now going into the smart grid, smart mobility in transport, smart logistics, business web systems, smart homes, social web, and smart buildings. This, Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker, the Vice Chancellor of Edo State, is the future. This is the future that we must prepare our students to look at. This is the digital transformation that Africa wants. Again, the pillars of Industry 4.0 revolution are the autonomous robots, the big data analytics, the supply chain analytics, additive manufacturing, and also the cloud and edge computing. Cybersecurity is very important because now anyone can hack your system and bring you to zero. Industrial Internet of Everything, horizontal and vertical integration of industries, society, and education. Simulation and augmentation is now the new normal. Again, why do we need this digitalization of Africa? It eliminates waste and losses, eliminates hidden cost, reduces cost, and then complexity. We are now looking into a new area, like sub-nanotechnology, things that we never knew existed. cyber-physical systems in place, and then exponential technologies are bringing gains to the rest of the world. Competition, now we are into digitalization, increased competitiveness and globalization. Again, this revolution looks at the customer. Everything is personalized. It's fast, it's cheap, it's quality. Total customer satisfaction is in place. So the framework for Industry 4.0 is such that you integrate these systems, you analyze and visualize and come up with solutions for your society, for your students. Again, the key challenges we face in these technologies is that these technologies are multidisciplinary, and the responsibilities to support the new revolution need teamwork and multidisciplinary teaching. It's not good enough for you to teach your students in the specialization that we did. Because they will be useless in the 4.0 digitalized Africa. They need to understand contract law. They need to understand society. They need to understand engineering. They need to face challenges of life, develop a domestic industry, which we don't have. We also don't have policies on Industry 4.0 related to research and development, which I challenge African universities to integrate their curricula into the whole framework, both the legal framework and so on and so forth. The new normal and the new 4.0 technology and skill transfer from overseas or part of pioneer status applications should be ignored. We need to localize these skills. Merging the old and the new systems is also challenging for industry and for the universities. Again, we need to look at data ransom is now at the rise because of the abundance of the glut of data. We also, for hackers and attackers, are abundant. We also are looking at how we can handle big data and also how we can transform our thinking and mindset. The drivers, Mr. Vice Chancellor said, Professor, it's the skill, the policy. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so the drivers, let me just maybe go to the last segment. The drivers are looking at skill, the higher learning institution, which are yourselves, and also the government and industry and the technical community. These need to work together. We need to reskill, upskill, and integrate, back and forth. Syllabus and curricular revisions must be done. On policy, we need incentives, data security. We also need digitization and digitalization. These are different. And also the ICT infrastructure be put in place. The culture, we need new paradigm shift in corporate culture, and we need to invoke a change process as soon as possible. Your Vice Chancellor said, this is a very dear topic. I will just maybe rush through it. How does then Africa transform itself? Our industry needs to transform, our graduates need to transform, our TVET systems need to transform. Again, the workforce transformation for Africa needs a strategy of how we deal with local upgrading of our skills, and also how do we deal with the confluence of the artificial intelligence and confluence of robotics and IA. Again, there are a lot of things that we need to look at as we move into the sensor modules, as we then change our thinking into smart power grids, into all these things. A lot of these things have changed the way we do business. We need to change our business models. We need to relive our customer experience. We also need to have actionable insights and also responsive operations of our universities, the community, and government can work together. We For us to achieve this, there's need for clarity of purpose. Not all platforms are born equal. There's also need to deal with conflict, engineering excellence versus digital impatience, curate data that thinks and acts, and then priming your digital immune system so that you are robust. And then we must be a future-ready organization. That is the confluence of men and the machine. I will not go into these details because I'm circulating the presentation. But what I want to quickly rush into is there are a lot of new ways to do things. For example, you can create data that thinks. As passengers are walking in or customers are walking into the shops, the machines will already be designing what they require using big data analytics, using sensors, the internet of everything. All this is a lot of ideas of how we can do these things ethically. Sometimes these are not being done, these things are not being done without the permission of people, of the clients, of the customer, or of society. Ethics is very, very, very important. So maybe let me leave the technology bit and recommend a plan of action that we need. As universities, as the professional associations, we must inspire and encourage young people and women to consider engineering as a career of choice. Of course, there will be other careers. We must also innovate outcomes. I'm glad Edo University is now outcome-based, which means it's looking at attributes and proficiencies and competencies that are required for the profession. So we must agree with education, with government, with industry for a regulatory rethink to catch up with the shifting trends. We must also influence global standards, establish an African platform for engineering standards, which is aligned to the International Engineering Alliance. Again, create partnership with stakeholders and initiate professional development pathways by engagements with the universities and professional institutions, and also this then with teaming up with international organizations. In conclusion, Africa should stake in the claim in the dynamic digital space and save the digital wave. So we must harness the new expertise. We must look at the new ways to work. We must have a new focus as African universities to digitize. Engineering a better Africa requires new paradigm shifts that focuses on the youth. Our aim is to improve quality of education, and also FAEO commits to work with you on capacity building and also mentor African countries so that they are members of the IEA. Let's prepare to ride the crest. Like we said, it was said by Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. What are we waiting for? Let's go for the change. And when we do it, we must remember our African Ubuntu, our culture, coming together, working together for the good of all of Africa. So the proverb really says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, let's go together. I thank you. Over to you, convener. I'm very grateful for the lecture. I hope I was not interrupted.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Engineer Martin Manuhwa. I just wanted to also inform that in Edo University, we have a 5 million Naira prize that we award annually to our best entrepreneurial idea from our graduating students.
Fantastic.
Last year, which was during our first convocation ceremony, the prize was shared between two graduates because we couldn't pick a winner from amongst the two. And this year, the competition is already on. Let me quickly appeal to Engineer Manuhwa that the assessment is currently going on. We will send you the list of 5 shortlisted candidates for the prize for you to help us, or for you to include your for you to help us make a judgment for the winner. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Manuhwa.
Thank you, Professor Luyo. You know, this topic I could hardly stop. So I'm sure I didn't eat a lot of time on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Manuhwa. I am not an engineer, but listening to you, I was tempted to go back to dust my books to see if I could register in an engineering program. That tells you if your talk was. In the course of the lecture, a couple of persons logged in and would like to take very quick recognitions. And we'll move on to the questions and answers. I'd like to recognize Engineer Professor Uche from Bayero University. I'd like to also recognize Dr. M. Dingwachuku, Clifford University, Warrington, Abia State. We'd like to recognize also Dr. Fred Bryman, Elizabeth University, Ilaramokin, Ondo State. We'd like to recognize Keme Williams, Delta State University, Niger Delta University, Bayelsa. We'd like to recognize Engineer Okoduga Dauda Aluya, current council. We want to recognize also Professor Wami, former
For those who have questions, you can raise up your hand electronically and we'll recognize you.
So this is a question and answer time. Engineer Manuhwa is ready, standing by to respond to whatever questions we have. Engineer Ladipo Ajayi has raised his hand. May we have your question, please? Engineer Ladipo Ajayi, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you, my prof. I'd like to appreciate the engineer and the beautiful lecture. For quite some time, we've not had this kind of quality lecture. In all the submission of the presenter, my little question is, what model, based on all this that he has delivered, will you recommend to the body of engineers that can make engineers to jumpstart this entrepreneurial mindset? Quite a lot have been said, but we want to see a situation whereby within each professional levels, basic entrepreneurship activities in Nigeria can be seen to commence, and engineers can now contribute to employment in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure Engineer Manuhwa had your question.
No, thank you very much. It's a very tough question. I will attempt to address it. The model that we really are looking at from the professional engineering body's point of view is a technopreneurial model, a model that is not encouraging students to produce papers, a model that encourages students to start and do, learn by doing, a model that recognizes and incentivizes entrepreneurship, which means we are now looking at graduates that produce goods and services, not after they graduate, but during their course. It is a model where we must equip the graduate with the critical thinking tools, entrepreneurial thinking tools, project management tools, and also we are working with the International Engineering Alliance to revise the attributes or the outcomes for the engineering graduates, where we are now going to have quite an anchor, a kind of a T model, where of course the graduate should be proficient in his or her own field of electrical engineering or nanotechnology, but should also be well versed with the technopreneurial skills, with entrepreneurship, with ethics, with the project management, with contracts management, with all sorts of things, with the deportment. So we are now creating a complete individual that is ready for transformation from day one. We are not having a student that is waiting for exams or to pass exams. Those are outcomes. What is it that the students can do? So I hope I've attempted to answer your very difficult question, but the whole world is working on it. We are revising the graduate attributes so that we will come up with a
I think we're having challenges from the speaker's end, but Dr. Ladipo, I guess you listened to him and that part of your fears have been addressed by him. If the network is properly restored, then he may continue to address your issue. In the interim, we will take other persons who may have questions or comments by raising up your hands digitally and electronically so that we can recognize you and ask you to ask your questions. Do I take it that there are no more questions or comments or reactions?
Okay, Professor, how do I ask this?
Okay. Professor T.O.K. Audu has a question. Please go ahead.
Emeritus Professor, so you can mute yourself and speak.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear you.
You can hear me now. Yes, I want to commend the university, Edo University, especially the Vice Chancellor, Professor Aluyo, and his management for organizing this public lecture. and bringing in an eminent engineer to deliver the lecturer, Engineer Manuhwa, for his wonderful presentation. Does the model that he has, does that model accommodate copy creativity? Does the model accommodate copy creativity? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm sure that the speaker has heard you. We would like him to I think that Engineer Manuhwa is having a few challenges. But while he's trying to reconnect, let me also quickly recognize Miriam Salio of NUC, Professor Mark Igile, BIU, that's Bensidausa University, Professor Seth Akutsu, Kaduna State University, Engineer Omorige Armstrong, Chairman, Benin Branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Would like to make you welcome and thank you for logging in. After the question and answer session, we will take goodwill messages. Let me ask that the speaker do stand by for that. We have 3 hands up. I'd like to take them. Mrs. Mariam Saliu, I think her hand is up, so can we take your question, ma'am? Thank you.
Can unmute yourself and speak, man. Ms. Miriam Sali.
Admin, we can see your hand up too. You may want to ask your question. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Go ahead, introduce yourself and speak, please.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Onyachu, Chemistry Department, Edo University, Iyamho. I want to congratulate our university for this very wonderful lecture. My question is, the speaker talked about genome design as one of the future of digitalization in Africa. And one begins to wonder, what of the ethics of genome design? We know what happens in the world when superpowers fight because of what we don't understand. And when people begin to design genomes, do we not think that people may begin to design humans? And then that will make us fall back to the ethics of digitalizing Africa in the future. So I don't know if he also has some ethical side of digitalizing Africa, because we don't just leave humans to do such things in the future, such as genome designing in the future. That may cause a very big problem than a solution for Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think the guest speaker is noting these questions. When it comes on, he will respond. Professor Philip Momberga,
yes.
we have your hand up. Thank you. Let me ask Engineer Race. At some point, we couldn't see you, but did you get all the questions?
I had two devices and they all went out. I think I only had the last question, which I will answer first, and someone can just probe in summary what the other questions were. The issue of ethics, it's high up on the agenda. I think that's the beginning of everything. The future that is going to be designed is going to be an ethical future. The Industry 4.0 revolution needs governance, serious governance systems and the regulatory regimes that do not just put people to their dreams, but will have to resonate with our Ubuntu, our Africanness, and also the desired regulatory platforms and frameworks for the implementation of this. The genome example is the extreme, but it also on, there will be a lot of cyber attacks. The countries can be neutralized. We go into ethics. We also must see which chores must be regulated such that you do not automate them all at once. You only do those repetitive, that need high energy and other things, so that you can free the mind power and also the physical work to other activities, like spending more time with into new industries. Through that in the future, universities may not just teach people to think on how to solve certain problems, and a group of people will come together with solutions. I may need a heads up on the other questions. Professor, hello?
Okay, we would ask Professor Emeritus Audu to please repeat his question so that you know that. Professor Audu, please.
Okay. My question is, does Engineer Manuhwa's model accommodate copy creativity in engineering? So that's my question.
Thank you, Professor. You have thought hard about this.
We'll also take Miriam Saliu. We'll take the question and then take Professor Philip, so that you can respond to all of them at the same time.
Yes.
Thank you. So, Mrs. Miriam Saliu and Professor Philip, we have you to ask your questions now.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Mrs. Mariam Saliu. I'm so sorry, that time I was having some challenges. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
You can hear me. Okay, thank you. So I want to commend the presenter, Engineer Manuhwa, for the wonderful presentation, and commend the Edo University for this laudable initiative. Mine is not a comment, it's not a question, it's just a comment. in relation to the question asked by Professor Kuson and the response that was given to him. I think this model is to do with the actual paradigm shift. I think the most important thing here is all we need is a paradigm shift in the way we teach in our universities to be able to come up with the desired kind of engineering graduates that we are requiring. So that is my own take. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we ask Professor Philip to go ahead and ask his question?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Right. I want to thank you. I want to really be thankful to the organizers of this public lecture. I'll especially thank the presenter for the wonderful presentation made. However, I want to point out some few things that he said at this presentation. First of all, I also want to thank President from the NUC, and she rightly know that right now in Nigeria university system, we are restricted. The NUC give us as guideline, or what I call it, BMAS. It's great time that the NUC as a moderator or the educational system in Nigeria come up with updated BMAS that will encourage entrepreneurship in the university system. If you continue teaching with the BMAS at the moment, we are still using a BMAS of 2007. I mean, for me, it's very inadequate, and it's a great time that for us to achieve the Digitalization of Africa curriculum to fit into the modern day teaching the world. That's what I wanted to point out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think at this point, we may ask the presenter to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question, Professor Emeritus, is interesting. It's interesting that what this new digitalization of Africa will do is not to change the way we have done things per se, but to make them much more impactful on a factor scale of more than 10 times. So for instance, when you are looking at copy creativity, what it means now, replication, reverse engineering, of course, taking into effect ethics, will now be almost instant. You know, certain products, you know, talk of the 3D printers, 4D printers, 5D, they will be printing body parts very soon. And I think research has gone very far. So here we will have medical personnel printing a liver in the future, or bone marrow. Now they're now doing the bones. They print those. So it's really, it is pushing the frontiers of knowledge to a space that we didn't, like the nano zone, you know, where now a whole new area is coming into the fray. So I'm not sure whether I've answered that adequately, but it will certainly make everything that we want to do faster and also cheaper and also better in terms of how it's done. In terms of curriculum review, it's not only Nigeria. I think this is all over. You go even to the developed world. I think we need to just change the turf wars and the protectionist mindset and mentality, and begin to think now that the world is moving and it may move without us. So what we have realized now, even the International Engineering Alliance attributes, there are 2011 attributes, and they were tweaked in 2013. they do not take into consideration the Industry 4 revolution as is. So they are now consulting the whole world for how best can we migrate into this new area. So your contributions are welcome. How we have contributed as the World Federation is we are putting all our contributions under one roof. So we'll debate and deify them and then present them as the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. And what is coming out is these cultural attributes, cultural competencies we're missing, the digital intuitiveness, and even sometimes we say a course takes 10 years or 4 years. We were basing it with the wrong assumptions. Now we have a DOS state with classrooms are no longer the new normal. And now we have peer learning, where we have the students teaching the professors teaching each other, and the professors teaching and learning differently. The tables are upside down. And this may mean the turnaround of a graduate may be shorter. And are we thinking about all this? Does it take 4 years to produce an engineer? 5 years with all these things? Faster learning. So all these things need to be reconsidered, and all the same taking into effect that we need to have these people grow and also mature and understand what the profession is all about. So this is all I can say for now, but I'm encouraged by your comments and questions.
Thank you very much, Engineer Manuhwa.
You have challenge. Okay.
There is a question for you from one of our persons that have logged on. It says, I am not an engineer. My question is, how will African universities, against the backdrop of the poor economic environment of most African countries? The question is, how will African universities cope with engineering researches against the backdrop of the poor economic environment of most African countries? His name is Dr. Fred Bremer. He asked this question. You may want to respond to that. While we ask Ademola,
yeah,
your hand
that's
still up.
Not quite.
You want to ask your question?
I think learning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, Mr. President.
Hello. Mr. President, how are you?
Mr. President,
yes.
I'm fine, Mr. President. How are you doing?
Very well.
Well done, great job. Nice seeing you again. We'll see like 3 times this week.
Of course. So on the resources, I don't think we have a resource scarce. I don't think we need to plan for the resources. For the digitization project and the digitalization of Africa, governments must put this on budget. And the whole world is also coming up with the Moonshot project is $109 billion US. It's going to look at 5 aspects: the infrastructure, the energy, which is the telecommunication, interconnectivities, bandwidth. It's going to look into all those areas in an integrated way. To the positive, I think it's now cheaper to deploy these new technologies than it was to deploy the first, second, and third revolutions.
Well, thank you, Engineer Manuhwa.
Yes.
I think that we have exhausted our questions. The good thing is that you are circulating the lecture, and people have the opportunity to read the full document. We can appreciate you enough. Let me Please drop your contacts in the chat. Drop your contacts in the chat and then we can follow up on this. Let me also welcome and recognize the chairman of the SAPLEB branch of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Eddie Agons. Thank you for logging in. At this point, we would like to take goodwill messages. Goodwill messages. And we would like to begin with the speaker of the Okiye. While we are trying to get Okiye ready, may I respectfully invite our former Pro-Chancellor, Professor Emeritus T.O.K. Audu, to give his goodwill message to this event. Professor Emeritus, please.
Thank you very much for recognizing me. I want to join all the participants to congratulate Edo University on this public lecture that the university has organized, and for picking a person in the capacity of Engineer Manuhwa. And I believe that a lot of us have benefited from this lecture. And I wish the university more successes. And I believe that Edo University is blazing a trail that is very technologically sound. And I'm sure the future is very bright. Congratulations, Edo University. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that goodwill message. This is just by way of an aside. When Professor Emeritus T.O.K. Audu was speaking, he said Professor Manuhwa. Let me say that is not misplaced, because Professor Manuhwa from Zimbabwe actually would trace his roots to Nigeria, particularly to Edo State. So if he traces his roots here, Manuhwa will become Manuhwa. Thank you very much. We would like to ask Honorable Pascal Ubome to kindly give his own goodwill message.
Good day, everyone. Let me say how elated I am to be associated with the Edo University and with the very wonderful job that my own boy, the VC, is leading this university. The university has become a trailblazer, just like Professor Audu said, and I'm very pleased with what is happening in the university. I had the privilege and opportunity to do a duty tour of the university a year ago, and I must say that I was very pleased with what the VC and his team are doing. I can only wish them well and pray that they will not rest on their oars, and that they continue to set, the pace and set the high standards and maintain the high standards that they've already set, and continue to push themselves, because today Edo University has become, one of the very best in the world, and I'm happy at what is happening there. And today's lecture, it's a wonderful one, and I'm glad to have been a part of the lecture. And thank you, Professor Ohaku, for doing what you know how to do best. Congratulations, Edo University, and I'm proud to be associated with this university. My good Prof. Aluyo, congratulations. Please keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
The heaven.
At this point, we would like to humbly and respectfully invite the Chancellor to Edo University, the very self-effacing gentleman. You will walk past him without knowing that he's a man whose name is taller than his frame, even though he's himself a tall man. Please make welcome Dr. Adiremi Makunjuola, the Chancellor of our university. Mr. Chancellor, sir.
To connect.
Chancellor, sir, you may unmute your mic so that we can hear you. Thank you, sir. Well, while we're having that challenge, trying to connect with our Chancellor, may I humbly invite the Honorable Commissioner for Education, who is representing our special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Edo State and visitor to the university, to please give his remarks. Honorable Commissioner, sir.
The Chancellor, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Iyamho, permit me to stand on already established protocol. Let me commend Edo State, Edo University, Iyamho. It's a wonderful thing that during the period of lockdown, our university for once continue with their lecture because of policies put in place by the Vice Chancellor of the university and his team. And today, talking about digital transformation of Africa, the role of our university. I know that Edo University, being one of the leading universities in Nigeria and the world at large, we take a leading position in this direction. We are very proud of what the university management is doing in ensuring that the vision and mission of the university is realized. We will continue to support the university in its desire to ensure that the dream of the founding father of this university is realized. We want to thank our erudite lecturer from who all the way has been able to give us something that is food for thought for policymakers in Africa and the developing world at large to ensure that if we must compete globally, we have to embrace digital transformation of our continent. Once again, I congratulate the university for this feat they have achieved for a successful third lecture series. And we pray that next year when we gather for a meeting like this, it is even going to be more successful. On this note, thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. The Honorable Commissioner and representative of the visitor, His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State. At this point, we are gradually winding down. As they say in popular parlance, whatever has a beginning necessarily must have an end. We'd like to, at this point, invite the only woman, the Margaret Thatcher of our university, the great policy person, our registrar, Dr. Mrs. Isoke Ogboro, to please give the vote of thanks. Madam Registrar, please.
His Excellency, sir, I don't know. His Excellency, sir, the visitor of our university and gone to Edo State. His visitor got the honorable capacity, ably represented by the honorable our Chancellor, Dr. Adelani Ojola, our former Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council, Professor Emeritus T.O.K. Manuhwa, the President of Africa Engineering Organization, and all our numerous guests. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Senior staff and Edo University, thank you all for taking your time out of your busy schedule to attend this memorable of the chair of the webinar lecture. We are very grateful and please accept and heartfelt appreciation. Nigeria to attend this lecture. We especially thank our speaker, Engineer Manuhwa, for giving us a very thoughtful lecture that will move Africa to greater height in the community of nations. We thank our President of Foreign for honoring our invitation. We are also grateful to all our vice chancellors, registrars, as of sister institutions, and rector of polytechnics for honoring our invitation. I say they successful in the history of Edo University. Let's not other word.
Thank you, dear Madam Registrar. And with that vote of thanks, we have gradually come to the end of this event. What is now left is for us to do the closing formalities. And so we would invite the officer in charge to give us the university anthem, and thereafter we'll have the national
Edo University Iyamho was established in 20. In meeting the demands of modern tertiary education, Vice Chancellor universities in the world, according to a ranking by Webometric. There is more in this report.
As hundreds of academics converged virtually to compare notes on the state of innovation for academic development, the Edo University experience came under the spotlight. With the help of e-learning, classes didn't come to a halt in spite of the coronavirus pandemic. It was one point of interest, more than 470 participants comprising vice chancellors of universities, lecturers, students, industry specialists, and media experts from around the world. The university's deputy vice chancellor, Professor Stephen Omodia, told the gathering that Edo University has also put merit at the center of its recruitment. Challenges of e-learning in African universities said many African universities could not use virtual classrooms due to epileptic power supply, weak internet broadband, brain drain, insecurity, inadequate manpower, and resistance to change. She also stated that in spite of the long list of challenges facing African universities, Edo University has utilized online platforms before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. The school's Director of Academic Planning, in his presentation, outlined the e-library, an online database, Anatomage table, power laboratory system, and SIMMAN 3G mannequins as being among factors helping it close the gap with other institutions. Other factors include the commitment of its ICT staff in web management, software engineering, and computer graphics. In a related paper titled E-Teaching and Learning Solutions, the Edo University Iyamho model, Dr. Vincent Balogun pointed out the advantages of Edo University's e-learning management system model, including improved course quality, training support, focusing on technical staff, learning materials and media, self-directed learning, ease of use, assessment and evaluation.
Edo University Iyamho wishes to announce the commencement of the 2020-2021 admission exercise. The university is equipped with world-class facilities such as the Anatomage table, SIMMAN 3G mannequins, and the Canvas learning management system, among others, that enhance effective teaching and learning. The Canvas LMS provides a computerized learning platform with video conferencing facilities which enable students to perform interactive academic activities online. The university has continued to showcase academic activities online on a Canvas LMS despite the lockdown occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, based on the determination to graduate students within the stipulated time as defined in the admission letters. You are definitely assured of uninterrupted academic calendar at Edo University Iyamho. For further admission inquiries, please visit the university website on www.edouniversity.edu.ng to fill an application today to give your child an opportunity of world-class education. Signed, Registrar.
With the establishment of Edo University Iyamho on the 23rd of March 2016, little did people know that with its birth as the 41st state-owned university in Nigeria, the world is set to be exposed to wonderful things in the medical landscape that may not be readily available within the immediate environment. Breaking new grounds may well be the best strategy evolved by the dynamic managers of the institution under the leadership of indefatigable Vice Chancellor, Engineer Professor Emmanuel Aluyo, to realize the set goal as the university became the first in Nigeria and second in the whole of West Africa to possess an anatomage, a state-of-the-art modern equipment used in the training of medical students.
Apart from teaching anatomy, I can teach a lot of other things from it. If I come here, I can teach histology from here. I can teach embryology from here. I can teach comparative anatomy from here. I can teach pathology from here.
The intention of the college is to ensure that we contribute significantly to the healthcare delivery and administration, and at the same time show the way in ensuring that we have doctors or graduates who would demonstrate significant competencies that are transferable from one country to the other and globally. We have also utilized a significant enhancement of technology into our programs. So a good number of times you come around, you find that we have things that will demonstrate anatomy, a virtual dissection platform for anatomy in 3 or 4D platforms, and with significant clinical pathology correlations.
Edo University Medical School is an expression of bravery, courage. Its focus is so far-reaching. It's a lot of emphasis on good training, on laying very good foundation. That's not only in words, but also in deed. And by the kind of investment they have made, both human and material, it's clear that they have focused on the future. The kind of things they have is exactly where the training of medical students is headed. From where this university has come, it has made it competitive for the older universities because it's really focused on the future. And it's a case of it's put its money where its mouth is.
Just 3 years down the line, the university, which is now a center of international attraction, with its array of sophisticated medical training equipment, such as
power laboratory, thermocycler, tissue processor, refrigerated centrifuge, high-performance liquid chromatography, atomic absorption spectrophotometer, digitally enhanced dissection laboratory,
has broken more grounds with the acquisition of low and high fidelity mannequin Siemens 3G in the clinical skills laboratory to give first-hand knowledge to students in the medical sciences in the diagnosis of patients.
Let's say, for instance, you want to teach asthma today, and you want to teach it to your medical students. If an asthmatic doesn't come in today to the hospital, how do you teach it? The patient that you need to see, you may never see throughout your career. A mannequin like this help you to simulate conditions that you don't necessarily see, so you can really teach a lot of different things. I am so excited by what the Edo University in Iyamho has done. This is the first institution that I know of where we have such an advanced training mannequin. I'm very, very proud to be an Edo man today. I've been to universities both in Nigeria and abroad. I'm happy to tell you that what I've seen here today is the best I've ever seen.
With the availability of a full package of the latest facilities in the field of medicine, science, as well as other related courses, vis-a-vis the provision of seasoned personnel to give the necessary technical know-how, students in the relevant discipline are guaranteed of mastering the art of medical practice within the shortest period of their stay in the university.
The prospective candidates who arrived the university premises as early as 8 a.m. Thursday morning in company of their parents and guardians were attended to by staff in the various sessions of the university, while their credentials were also subjected to scrutiny and necessary verifications. Meanwhile, parents and visitors to the university who were conducted round on a tour of facilities in the university, which include the ultra-modern auditorium, state-of-the-art hostels, among others, appreciated the state government for the giant strides and noted that the institution of learning is comparable to the best in the world.
Everything about the school is impressive. All the hostels, the classrooms, all the facilities are just in order.
The school is very, very beautiful. I saw the facilities, I saw the environment is serene, and I also saw their classrooms. The place is beautiful. And so I'm proud to be one of the parents that brought their child today for the screening.
Initially, when I heard about the school, I had to go through internet. But when I now came, I was like marveled. Yeah, I'm really, really impressed. It's like something you see abroad. Yeah, it's a world-class institution.
Hostels are fantastic. Facilities are wonderful, world-class. I want to believe God that the governor will keep improving on the facilities in this institution for greater impact to the world.
I have some students here already, and the reports I've gotten so far is very impressive. So that's why I brought my daughter.
The candidates who were impressed with the conduct of the screening exercise are eager to be part of the citadel of learning, as well as expressed optimism that they cannot wait to be part of the lucky ones who will be resuming the new academic session of the university, which recently concluded her 2019-2020 academic calendar online via her Canvas learning management system.
The school is a nice place, and I want to be one of the best students around the globe. That's why I came here. I have the hope that I'll get the best teaching and learning here as a student.
I like the way the classes are, the lecture rooms and the e-libraries, they are well equipped with computers and everything. The school is good. I like it.
It was a nice experience. I'm glad to be here.
Came here for the screening today, and so far so good. They've maintained social distancing, and the school is actually very nice, and they have a lot of facilities from what I can see. So I'm really, really looking forward to coming here so that I can at least gain the knowledge, and I can't wait.
The chairman of the university's admission board, Dr. Usunobu Usunomena, described the exercise as a huge success.
We had a huge crowd. We followed the COVID-19 protocol dutifully, carefully, diligently in all areas. I also want to say that the post-UTME exercise has been very successful. We expected the students back November 16 to resume for 2020-2021 academic session. So we believe all things being equal, despite COVID-19, Edo University is making progress and moving on.
Edo University Iyamho, which has scheduled 16th November 2020 as resumption date for the 2020-2021 new academic session, is amongst the very few universities in the world where academic activities did not shut down due to the coronavirus pandemic. While the screening is still ongoing, the medicine and nursing program screening is slated for Thursday, 19th November 2020.
Edo University Iyamho was
Out of the 50 students who graduated from the university, 5 students graduated with first class, with Christiana Olayemi Bodude coming out as the overall best student with 4.80 CGPA. 26 students graduated with second class upper division, while 60 students have second class lower division, and 3 with third class. Godwin Evowa and Mohammed Yahaya Aweni came out first as the students with best entrepreneurial idea and shared the 5 million naira prize. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Emmanuel Aluyo, while commending parents for having faith in the institution, announced automatic appointments as graduate assistants for the 5 students with first class, as well as another appointment from Sterling Bank for the same 5 best students. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, who also announced 1 million naira each for the best 5 graduate students, commended the management for maintaining the aims and objectives of the institution, while the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, commended Governor Obaseki for demonstrating practical continuity in the university.
Edo University, Iyamho, was established.
Welcome to Edo University, Iyamho. History was made on March 23, 2016 in the educational sector of Edo State as the National Universities Commission (NUC) approved the establishment of Edo University, Iyamho. By this approval, Edo University, Iyamho becomes the 41st state university and 142nd university in Nigeria. Edo University, Iyamho, otherwise known as EUI, was ranked third best in Open Educational Resources 2018, organized by the National Universities Commission (NUC). The university is among the few in Africa that has an atomic table and fully deployed Canvas elements for effective online teaching and learning. During the lockdown, the university deployed the e-learning platform for successful completion of the 2019-2020 academic session. The university has become African Toast with its collaboration with Association of African University for several online training for university lecturers and researchers. Let's take a look. This is the administrative building of the university. This is Muhammadu Buhari Science Building. You are welcome to engineering faculty and its workshops. Here is Farmers Building. These are medical laboratories. This is law faculty. Here is the university library. Here in EUI, we have temperature control classrooms with multimedia facilities. This is the university main auditorium. You are welcome to the Students' Hall of Residence. This is our football pitch. I hope you like what you have seen. Thank you for being our visual visitor.
Edo University, Iyamho, was established.